What's up, guys? It's the Rise to the Occasion. I got two guests with me. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, Evan, you go first.
I'm Evan Harris from New York.
I'm Jason
Then
Lazarus from New York, 16.
All right.
Let's go Knicks.
We're going to talk about what teams we think can contend for a title next year and our predictions. I'm going to start it off, and I'm just going to say that I know the Western Conference is stronger than the Eastern Conference. I bet everybody knows that, but I think there's more teams in the East that can contend for a title next year.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah,
well, the Heat are two-time defending champs, and I see them being able to have a three-peat, but I don't know if it'll be as easy as the last 2 years with the Nets additions and Derrick Rose coming back. Also, the Pacers are getting stronger. They just added Luis Scola, so that's going to be a really tough conference. But um, I think it's a toss-up between the Heat and Bulls. I think Derrick Rose, if he's healthy, then he's unstoppable, and I mean, it's hard for Mario Chalmers to guard him. We saw that in the series 2 years ago. The Bulls almost took it, and yeah, but I think if LeBron has another crazy year like last year, then they can make it to the championship. As for the Western Conference, I really like the Clippers, and I really like Doc Rivers as their new coach. I think he's going to help them out a lot.
I agree.
And the Rockets, now that they have Dwight Howard, they're going to be legit contenders too. The Warriors, I like their addition of Andre Iguodala, but I still think they're too young to contend for a title. But what do you guys think?
I couldn't agree more with your Eastern Conference predictions. I think the Heat and Bulls are definitely the two strongest teams there, with Derrick Rose coming back and all that. But in the West, I don't really think the Los Angeles Clippers are the best title contenders. I'm going with OKC because after their performance in this playoffs with Russell Westbrook injured, they're extremely determined to come back and take a nice shot at winning first title for Durant and Westbrook. I think Durant's tired of LeBron just taking all the spotlight when Durant has extreme talent, where in other generations he could be the best player. This guy wants to win a championship badly, and I think him and Westbrook have what it takes.
You know, I think Durant might be tired of LeBron taking the spotlight, but there's a reason LeBron takes the spotlight, and that's because he's better than Durant.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
say it.
I'm just saying. And right now, they lost Kevin Martin, the Thunder,
I'm saying I just think that they're going to make it to the championship. Did I say that they're going to beat the Heat?
but I don't
I say
see
that they have
I
a better shot than the Clippers,
I don't know if they
who
have a
haven't
better
proved
shot
themselves at all.
I
because
don't see them having a better shot than the Clippers right now when the Clippers add two great shooters in Jared Dudley and JJ Redick,
But
and
they
now
already had great shooters the whole time. Their shooting wasn't the problem at all.
but it's even better. It's even better now. They can spread the floor. They're probably the best three-point shooting team in the NBA, besides for maybe the Knicks.
How about the Warriors with Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry?
they're a
Well,
good shooting team. But the reason why I don't think the Thunder will come out in the West is because Kendrick Perkins is getting worse and worse. Ibaka does not have a post game. The Thunder's post
He's got a
is
pretty
really
nice spot
bad,
up game.
and they just lost Kevin
Ibaka's
Martin.
improving his offensive game every single year.
But it's all outside. He's shooting threes
yeah,
now. He's
but
not doing anything inside.
Ibaka, if you put up Ibaka against Dwight Howard, what's going to happen?
Aren't we talking about the Clippers here?
We could be talking about the Clippers. We could be talking about the Rockets.
Okay. So you
Let's
want
talk.
to talk about the Rockets? You want to talk about the Clippers?
Let's talk about the Rockets for a second.
Well, what do you guys think about the Rockets? Because I think that they could win it next year with the addition of Dwight.
They could. I just don't know how well they're going to play together. That's
Yeah.
to be seen.
First, we have to see if James Harden and Dwight could get along, or it's just going to be another Kobe and Dwight situation.
And Dwight doesn't seem to be happy anywhere he goes.
Well,
But
that's true.
this was the only time he chose where he wanted to go.
I guess that's true, but
Okay. Who says he's going to like it?
He might not.
Exactly. He's a baby.
Well, Evan, can you give your picks for the East and West now? I want to hear these.
I'm telling you, for the East, you can't. Everyone has to say the Heat. You have to say the Heat because they're the Heat. So obviously the Heat are one of my picks, but my other pick has to be my own Brooklyn Nets.
Oh God.
You can't tell me. You can tell me as much as you want how Paul Pierce and Garnett are old, but their numbers last year, if you look at them, they were still pretty good.
Yeah, because Rondo was out like the whole season. Who else was supposed to put the ball in the hoop?
Okay, I admit their numbers are going to go down this year for sure. If you have a
It's
fantasy
all-
team, don't
I
draft.
don't think their
But
numbers from
they
last year's Celtics team prove that they're still ridiculous.
But you could, if you watched the Celtics play last year, you could tell that they still had something in them. You could tell that Paul Pierce and Garnett are not done. And you know what? The Nets during the regular season, they might not be one of the best in the East because they want to rest the guys. They're going to be like the Spurs this year.
But what, are they going to rest the whole season? What, are you kidding me? You
No,
mean it's going to rest the guys the whole season?
I'm not telling you they're going to rest the
Pathetic.
whole season. I'm telling you they're gonna play like 25 minutes a game, Paul Pierce and Garnett.
Okay, so what's your point? They're going to suck in the regular season?
I'm telling you they might be the third seed. Maybe they might be the fourth seed.
Do you really
But
think that they can match up with the athleticism of the Heat, the Pacers even,
Not a
the Bulls?
chance.
yeah,
Excuse,
the Bulls. Let's talk about the Bulls for a second.
okay, the Bulls beat the Nets when half their team was literally throwing up on the sideline. And now they have Derrick Rose back.
Let's talk about Derrick Rose. I wanna talk
Arguably
about
the
that.
best point guard in the NBA when he's healthy.
How do we know Derrick Rose is gonna come back? Derrick Rose.
Well, he took out the whole year to prepare for this when he could have came back sooner. I think he's going to come back stronger than ever, especially mentally.
Mentally, yes, but physically, you don't know. He could be. He's everything he says. Derrick Rose. He's 100%. He's been 100% for a
You
while.
can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee that the Nets aren't going to get injuries to two of their stars. You can't guarantee anything.
You can't guarantee, but I'm just saying, Derrick Rose, as I see it, Derrick Rose is not the
Derrick
best.
Rose is great. He's young. Why should he come back any worse?
I don't see. I can see the
Took a whole
Bulls.
like, year and a half off of the game.
I can see
The
four
rest
teams.
though.
I can see four teams in the East contending, but with the Nets just made their starting lineup one of the best, if not the best, in the NBA.
Yes, that's true, but I still don't
And
think they
the
have
bench.
athleticism at all. And that's key in today's game, athleticism. If you don't have it, then you're going to get run off the court.
I got a question for you. Who's stopping LeBron on that team?
Who's stopping LeBron?
Yeah, who's stopping LeBron? Tell me Paul Pierce is going to keep up with him?
Paul Pierce might not keep up with him, but
Okay, so who's going to keep up with him?
okay, maybe Joe Johnson can keep up with him.
He's such a great defender that he could keep up with LeBron, and then who's going to guard Wade?
No,
And then
no
he
one
got
no one is a great defender that they can keep up with LeBron. Nobody in the NBA could keep up with LeBron.
he
The
could
only
limit
person
him.
who I've seen
No one on the Nets that could even limit him.
the only person that I've seen who could keep up with LeBron is Boris Diaw. It doesn't even make sense. He's the only person who could.
Because he's strong
So-
enough, but... What do you guys think about the
So-
Knicks, though?
The who?
You guys think the Knicks can get far this year?
No.
I do think they can get far this year.
Why do you say that?
I don't know if championship, but they could definitely make the conference finals. Because Carmelo Anthony is playing with a shoulder injury last season. J.R. Smith, his knee was busted out. Shumpert coming off ACL surgery. And now with the additions of Meta World Peace and Andrea Bargnani, why can't they be contenders? All the guys are coming back healthy now. Amari's coming back healthy. They got new additions. Tim Hardaway Jr., great pick out of Michigan University. 6'6", athletic guy. Nick's extremely athletic. Meta World Peace. Mon Shumpert. Tim Hardaway. J.R. Smith. They definitely have the athleticism to keep up with any team in the East.
Tim Hardaway's so good. Why did he get drafted 25th?
I said he's extremely athletic, and he could provide a nice motivation off the bench. He could hit some
Okay,
threes, play defense.
I don't know.
I don't know about Melo's playoff production. J.R. Smith in the playoffs.
Yeah, how about those Nets in the playoffs last year? They were great. losing the first round to the Bulls.
It's a different team
Without
now.
Derrick Rose.
It's a completely
Well,
different
the
team.
Knicks still have a different team with Meta and Bargnani.
Exactly.
Bargnani,
Thank you. They re-signed Kenyon Martin. Amari's
Bargnani-
coming
wait.
back healthy. Amari's healthy for the first time now in like 2 seasons because he's been fighting injuries all over his body for 2 seasons.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That he's coming back healthy, of course it's a good thing.
I don't know. Amari's been
Thank-
healthy with Melo. It hasn't been too great.
He's barely been healthy. He keeps getting injury after injury after injury. How can he say Amari Stoudemire is a negative?
So what you're saying is Amari's injury prone.
He is.
So
And
why? And Bargnani's injury prone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what's stopping them from getting injured again?
You can't just assume they're going to get injured. You have to come in with the expectation right now that they're not going to be injured because right now they're not injured.
With Amari and Bargnani, I think
So
you
talk
could,
to me again when they get injured. They're healthy right now. Talk to me when they get injured.
I think you could assume they're going to get injured.
Okay,
I
you can just assume. You can just assume he's going to...
But if they do get injured, then they still have the same team as last year. It's nothing different.
You got Andrea Bargnani, Kenyon Martin, Amari Stoudemire, Tyson Chandler.
They got a good front
I
line.
think they can handle it.
But their problem
And
last
the
year,
guards they're totally stacked with guards.
was all defense, and I don't know if they improved defensively. Except Meta World Peace is a great defender. But
Hardaway is known as a defender.
How much is Tim Hardaway playing over here?
Iman Shumpert is fully healthy. Iman Shumpert, he came back less than a year after ACL surgery. He came back literally half a season before Derrick Rose.
Okay, the Knicks got better, but
They did get better, and all their guys they're going to be healthy. J.R. Smith might not be that healthy at the start of the season, but going on later in the year, he should be fine.
they didn't get that much better, and the rest of the East got much better.
Yeah, but the Knicks were still great.
Okay,
They're the second
great,
seed last year.
but
They were a great team.
Right now, great is the 5th seed.
Okay, the fifth.
the seed, I don't know. I think they can move above the Nets easily. That's just my opinion.
Thank you very
but,
much.
No, I don't see
I
that.
agree with you.
I mean, the East is stacked this year. The top 5
What makes the
teams
Nets so great? Who says that Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce are going to play so well all of a sudden? They have very similar type play styles. They like to shoot the ball a lot. They have a stacked starting 5, and both of those guys want to shoot like crazy. Who says that they're going to play well together? You can't just assume it.
You can't just assume they're not.
Let's see. Lakers didn't play very well together last year with their stacked team.
Oh,
Took-
and
It
And
took
the
the
Heat
Heat about 20 games to do it.
okay, so if it takes the Nets 20 games to do it and then they make the championship, I'll be fine.
Okay, but the Heat had 3 main guys that needed to work it out, and the Nets have 5 main guys that needed to work it out. That's number 1. Number 2, we're talking about LeBron James here, who seems to get everything figured out whenever he plays.
We're talking about 5 All-Stars. Five guys, and 2 of the guys are championship winners. They're
Okay.
vets. They know how to win. These Paul Pierce and Kevin
We
Garnett
don't.
are winners. You talk about Paul Pierce and KG, they're winners.
Yeah, but they're not used to having a team that's stacked like this, and they have no experience
used to
playing
having
with
a
these
team-
guys, and they have you have no idea if they're going to be so great together.
That's what you're telling me they're not used to having a team that's this good, so they're not going to be as good.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense.
Doesn't really
it
make
makes sense because you don't know if they're going to play well together because they all want the spotlight.
Okay, if JR and Melo could play together, then Joe Johnson and Paul
What does
Pierce.
that mean?
I mean,
They're different people.
the Knicks and Nets are going to be fighting for a spot. Both of them, like, around the middle of the
They're different
conference.
people. You can't compare Melo and JR to these guys. They're different people. Everyone's different.
I see Paul Pierce and KG as wanting to win a championship no matter what. If Paul Pierce has to shoot less, he'll shoot less.
Okay.
KG has to shoot less, he'll shoot less.
All right.
These guys are not selfish guys. No one knows these guys as selfish guys.
You got some good points.
Uh,
But I don't know. I just don't agree with you, but this is getting kind of
Thank you, man.
long, so we got to end this soon. Just,
I'm having fun here.
I know, but now I'm just going to ask you guys to give your prediction for the 2 teams that you that you think will be in the finals? Just one team from each conference. I'm gonna say
Miami, OKC.
I think it's gonna be the Heat and the Clippers. It's my prediction.
Nets, Rockets. Not saying who's gonna win. I don't know.
You think the Nets will beat
Nets
the
Rockets.
Heat?
Stupid.
Nets,
You
Rockets.
just sound stupid saying that the Nets can beat the Heat.
I think the net unless if the Heat
Nets
get
Knicks
Greg
is a
Oden,
very different argument. You
If
can't
the-
compare the
if
Nets
the
and the
Heat
Heat.
get if
It's
the
not
Heat
even comparable.
hey, if the Heat get Greg Oden, I'm switching my
Oh,
prediction.
please, they have LeBron James,
Okay.
Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh.
Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's wonderful.
He is
Dwayne Wade is
wonderful.
getting a lot worse.
He's playing the whole season last year with a knee injury and was still great.
Okay, his knee's not good. Look at him in the playoffs. Look at Chris Bosh in the playoffs. If they
And
don't
they
get Greg
still
Oden,
won the championship.
if they don't
With
get
how badly they played the whole playoffs, they were still able to win the championship. That's how good they are.
if they don't get Greg Oden, and Chris Bosh continues to play this way, and Dwayne Wade continues to play this way, I just think the East is just better this year. That the East are going to beat them out before they can make the championship.
I don't think so. I
not
think
gonna
if the Heat get beat, it's going to be by the Bulls because that seems to be their kryptonite right now. But
Exactly, because they're much bigger and stronger on the boards.
that's true.
But the Nets don't have those guys on the boards that can take them out. Brook Lopez isn't exactly their best rebounding center. Usually averages 7 or 8 rebounds a game.
It's true. KG gets some rebounds. Reggie Evans coming
He
off the
gets
bench.
some. Chris Bosh also gets some. Like
No, KG gets more than Chris Bosh.
it's like, what is it, 8.5 to 8 right there, 8.5 to 7.5. It's really not a big deal.
But KG's not. But the Heat have one guy. The Nets have two guys who will get you a combined 16, while the Heat have
Well,
one guy who will get you.
LeBron's still
Yeah, they
getting
got-
8 a game.
They got Birdman. They got Haslam. They got guys who are strong on those boards.
Nets have Reggie Evans, Blotch.
I don't know. I
Okay,
guess
but are you telling me it's so overpowering to the Heat on the boards? That's the only way you can beat the Heat. You got to be extremely overpowering on the boards. That's the only way you're going to beat them, and the Nets don't have that type of team. The Nets have guys like Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce who can score, but it's not enough to take out LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. I'm sorry. It's just not.
all right.
Okay, I
And it's
disagree.
going to take them time to
Okay.
play well together. You know it. I know it's not just going to happen on day one.
I don't think we have any more time, so I'm just going to disagree with what you're saying.
I guess we'll see when the season starts. But
You just want to leave because you got really nothing to say right now.
Next time we'll go much more in depth.
I'm ready to do it right
all
now.
right. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Go. No problem.